Okay, I think we are ready and all set here on our end. So one last welcome to you all. Thank you so much for joining. I'm sure that many of you are preparing to return to the classroom soon. Maybe this is a in-school day for you without students. We really appreciate you taking a moment to join us and learn about collaborating with AI. My name is Stephanie Bennett, and I'm a professional development specialist here at CodeHS. I was a classroom teacher for 11 years and then transitioned into computer science land, writing curriculum and providing professional development about 4.5 years ago. And so I'm so excited to be here with you today talking about one of the most recent developments in computer science, of course, artificial intelligence and all the new tools that technology brings us every day. So I'm going to let Lindsay introduce herself.
Hi everyone, I'm Lindsay. I am also a professional development specialist here at CodeHS. Before coming to CodeHS, I was a high school computer science teacher in Maryland. And yeah, I'm excited to work with you today on some AI tools.
Thank you, Lindsay. So we'll be answering your questions today as they come in. You can use the Q&A feature there at the bottom of your window. Please feel free to fire away whenever a question pops up to mind. We're happy to try to answer those. If it's something quick, Lindsay will just at her discretion answer it in the Q&A section or elevate it to me, and we'll be also providing you with some materials in the chat. So Lindsay has already added a link to our slide deck, so feel free to either follow along on my screen or click on that link to open the slide deck on your device. All right, so let's start with a little bit about CodeHS. So we are a comprehensive platform for teaching computer science, K through 12. I am so proud of our curriculum team as we have expanded our offerings from high school down to middle school, and just in the last few years, actually elementary school curriculum. And we are so proud of our curriculum and the engaging experiences that we are hoping are happening in classrooms around the country as educators engage with computer science learning with their students. We are completely web-based, so that's super helpful just around accessibility and only needing one login for students in one platform. We keep our curriculum, our professional development, all of our LMS and IDE features all in one convenient spot for you. So if you want to check out more about CodeHS, we'll give you a link here at the end of our presentation time today. But we do offer some really great tools that we hope are helping teachers be more confident and more efficient while they teach computer science. So we're here today to talk about AI, so I didn't want to miss out on giving a little plug for our AI curriculum. We have 3 specific courses for students to engage in around AI. The first one is our Introduction to AI for Middle School. That is a 10-hour course for middle school students. Then we have 2 high school focused AI courses, and these are both 20 hours each, Intro to AI for High School and Applications of AI and Machine Learning. And my understanding is that that course, while I haven't had the opportunity to work through it myself yet, it is that new. That course is a little bit more technical, a little bit into the details of AI and machine learning. So definitely check out those courses, and also our project catalog. If you are teaching other computer science courses from CodeHS, you can still find AI projects that maybe you can fit in. So if you don't have time for the full 10 hours or 20 hours in your course, we do have lots of those smaller projects to add into whatever curriculum you're building for your students to help them get some exposure and experience to all things AI. So definitely check out the course catalog. Definitely check out the project catalog also. So if you do not have a CodeHS account, definitely sign up for one. They are free, and then you get access to all of our middle school and high school curriculum for free. And we are going to provide a certificate of completion for hanging out with us today and learning about collaborating with artificial intelligence. So if you are not signed in, go ahead and sign in or sign up. And while you get signed in, I am going to just preview at a high level the topics that we are going to cover today. So first, I want to approach how we're thinking, how we're explaining our relationship to artificial intelligence. I think feelings are high right now, and it's come as this tidal wave of new technology. And so I want to dive a little bit into how we as adults are positioning AI for ourselves, and then talk a bit about how we are helping students position AI in their day-to-day. Next, we'll talk about content customization with artificial intelligence tools. We will stick with chatbots today, the commonly used Gemini and ChatGPTs, because I am hoping that you have access to those. And we will talk about lots of other AI integrated tools today, but what I'll demonstrate, we will stick with those chatbots. Then we will spend some time thinking about content creation with AI. And again, just using those common chatbot tools. How do we create new things for the classroom with AI? And then I do want to, again, since we're starting with how we're positioning AI in our minds and our students' minds, I want to wrap back around to that and talk about some words of wisdom, some words of caution, and some perils of student use of AI to consider. So that's how we're going to spend our time today. And now that you are signed in to our platform, you can go ahead and get your certificate of completion. So thank you, Lindsay, for throwing in that link to the chat. And then we will go ahead and get started here with our main topics. So like I said, I want to start with positioning AI in our adult minds and also helping students position AI in their learning. So I was thinking of these two questions. As a former educator, I'm always about the backwards planning. And so if we're thinking about how to use this tool, I think the big place to start is, what do we want students to understand and what skills do they need? Now, admittedly, these are two big questions. So if we take backwards planning to address questions like these, maybe we start with the idea that we want students to become adults who are well-informed and analytical thinkers, who can successfully pursue their career interests and contribute positively to society and the economy. But at the rapid pace that AI will continue to change our daily lived experiences, like our day-to-day duties in our professions, our communal experiences, it becomes increasingly difficult to predict what the economy, society, and careers will look like. So how then do we answer these two questions? Big picture, why do we teach computer science? I'm going to let you think about that for a second. Why do you personally teach computer science? What do you want your students to understand, and what skills do they need? Think on that for a second. So I believe that we teach computer science to help children understand that they do not need to be relegated to the role of a passive user of technology. Instead, students can and should become empowered creators of and with technology. And as with any revolutionary tool or technology, we are being forced to reckon with how that new technology is changing our society's most foundational institutions and systems and beliefs. Institutions like the school that you teach in, systems like career pipelines and trajectories and the skills needed to be successful in the workplace, beliefs about what types of knowledge and skills are fundamental and useful. So some big questions we're asking, and I don't have the answers, but I think it's worth grappling with while we're together today and into the future. So as we think about how we're positioning AI in our frameworks and helping students position AI in their frameworks, let's talk a little bit about what it is and what it's not. Artificial intelligence is revolutionizing education by personalizing learning, automating administrative tasks, and providing data-driven insights to enhance student outcomes and teacher efficiency. Integrating AI technologies in classrooms empowers educators and learners alike. So AI refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to think, learn, and perform tasks, typically requiring human intelligence. And this includes capabilities such as reasoning, problem solving, understanding natural language, recognizing patterns, and making decisions. The thing that AI is really, really good at is processing huge, vast amounts of data and then identifying trends and adapting actions based on new information, continuously improving their performance over time. So this technology encompasses various fields like machine learning, where algorithms learn from data, natural language processing, enabling machines to understand and respond to human language, and computer vision, allowing machines to interpret visual information. So AI tools have the potential and promise to greatly improve the ways in which we teach and learn. For example, enhancing personalized learning. AI tailors educational experiences to meet the unique needs of each student. By analyzing individual learning styles, progress, and preferences, AI systems can customize lesson plans, provide targeted resources, and adjust the pace of instruction. This ensures that students receive the appropriate level of challenge and support, enhancing their learning outcomes and engagement. AI can also automate administrative tasks. AI streamlines various administrative processes, freeing up educators to focus more on teaching and student interaction. Tasks such as grading, attendance tracking, scheduling can be efficiently handled by AI systems. For example, AI-powered grading tools can quickly assess assignments and provide detailed feedback, reducing the workload on teachers and increasing efficiency. And we'll see a CodeHS example of a little bit of AI progress tracking and grading here in a few minutes. AI can also provide insights through data analysis. And I think this is what is super exciting about artificial intelligence, because it can analyze those huge, large volumes of educational data to uncover patterns and trends that may not be immediately apparent if a human were to sift through that same data. So this data-driven approach helps educators make informed decisions about instructional strategies and even interventions. AI can identify at-risk students, highlight areas where students are struggling, and suggest improvements in curriculum design. By leveraging these insights, schools may be able to improve their overall educational effectiveness and student performance. So these are some lofty goals for AI in education, but we hope we're thinking positively. We hope these things are coming to fruition through AI tools available now to us today. Good things happening with AI. However, in order to help students continue to position and envision themselves as more than just passive users of these AI technologies, we do need to help them put AI in its place as a tool that was created by humans. I love this quote from the Raspberry Pi Foundation. They are doing some amazing work and research around artificial intelligence and teaching and learning about these systems. So I wanted to share this quote with you from the Raspberry Pi Foundation's quarterly newsletter publication that came out a while back. This was such an intriguing idea to me about anthropomorphizing AI systems, and avoiding anthropomorphizing helps young people open the closed box of AI applications. So take the example of a smart speaker that's pretty easily identifiable by students as a AI integrated technology. But it's easy to describe a smart speaker's functionality in anthropomorphic terms, such as it listens or it understands. However, it's more accurate and empowering to explain smart speakers as systems developed by people to process sound and carry out specific tasks. So rather than telling young people that a smart speaker listens and understands, it's more accurate to say that the speaker receives input, processes the data, and produces output. This language helps to distinguish how the device actually works from the illusion of a persona the speaker's voice might conjure for learners, and then again empowers them not to be just this passive user of this AI technology, but to think, well, I can have an effect on new technologies. If a human created this, maybe someday I'll be able to create a new AI technology. So again, these are just a lot of ways we want to consider how we're helping students position AI as a tool in their own mind and day-to-day practices. We will need to have many, many conversations with students about what we don't want them to do with AI. But we will also need to have just as many conversations about what we do want them to do with AI. So I've listed here a couple examples of how we might help students use AI as a tool and not expect AI to be the producer of some final product that they are assigned to create. When we do these webinars, we hear a lot about academic integrity, academic dishonesty, and how easy it is for students to attempt to use AI tools to cheat, essentially. And I think that if we help students envision alternative uses of the AI tool, that's going to be an ongoing conversation that will help them build their skills instead of relying on the easy path of using this AI tool. So can we encourage students to use AI to explain concepts in new engaging ways? That's something we're going to have to teach students how to do. Can we teach students that AI can be used as a tutoring program to guide you through practice problems or provide helpful hints or provide recommended videos or articles tailored to their learning needs and interests? Could we help students use AI as a tool to help them plan and organize their study schedule or stay on track with their assignments? I think these are some more positive ways of helping students see AI as a tool in their learning that's not the final producer of content. Here's just a few more that I really liked. We want our students to be lifelong learners, so could they use AI to explore new subjects and hobbies that interest them outside of schoolwork? Could we ask them to collaborate with classmates by creating and sharing studying materials with AI? Again, just some food for thought, some positive ways that students might engage with AI as they change their frame of reference from, oh, this is going to solve all of my problems and do all my assignments for me, to a tool to help them learn deeply. So consider which of these resonate with you. Consider which of these might seem likely interest to your students. We as adults also need to continually position AI in our own minds. And this is something I'm struggling with as I'm hearing teachers' feedback saying, but Stephanie, they're using it to cheat. They're using it for academic dishonesty. I have to continually be conscious of how I'm positioning AI in my own thoughts. So let's compare some adult fears about student AI use today to concerns about student word processing use in the past. Think back to the 80s and 90s when word processing tools, Microsoft Word was coming out. What kind of concerns did educators have about that revolutionary technology? Maybe something like fear of cheating and academic dishonesty. There were concerns that students could easily copy and paste content from various sources without citation using word processing tools. While today, with AI, we might worry that students will find answers to test questions, generate essays, complete assignments, totally relying on the AI, thereby undermining academic integrity. But I think there's definitely some parallels there between the fears of the past with word processing tools and the fears of today with AI tools. There are fears around dependence on technology. So in the past, worries that students might rely too much on spell check and grammar correction, therefore weakening their language and writing skills. Same fears today, over-reliance on AI, diminishing critical thinking and problem-solving skills. And finally, let's consider the impact on learning processes. So in the past, educators may have worried about word processing and having apprehensions that the ease of editing and formatting documents might make students focus less on the content of their work and more on the appearance of their work. And today, parallel concerns that students might bypass the learning process altogether, letting AI do that hard work, and thus not fully engaging with material or developing necessary skills. So this is a very nuanced conversation. There are differences in the sophistication of these technologies, obviously, between word processors and generative AI tools. There are differences in the ethical considerations at play. And while the specifics of the fears have evolved, the underlying concerns about technology's impact on student learning and integrity remain consistent. Both then and now, the challenge lies in integrating new technologies in new ways that enhance education while preserving the core values of learning and academic honesty. So we're going to have to continue to position AI for ourselves and for our students. But it's a tool that's here to stay. And so let's think about how we might collaborate with AI on content customization. Let's consider some ways in which we might collaborate with common AI chatbots in order to work with, modify, or adapt available text that you may want to use in your classroom. So we might use AI to make text more accessible, summarize large texts and main points, translate text, or use AI for pre-teaching and reteaching. So let's say you want to take an article. I had one ready to go here for the Kids Britannica. So I'm actually going to stop screen sharing here for a second because I want to go back to my, Lindsay, how do I get out of the tabs?
You maybe just hit escape. Will that, hopefully that doesn't.
There we go. Yep, perfect. Okay, so let's put this back over here and then I will screen share this part. All right, so I did want to do some demonstrations here because I thought this was really interesting as we are considering how we might collaborate with AI in order to customize content. So I've taken a link from a Britannica for Kids article on artificial intelligence. It just talks about what it is in very kid-friendly terms. It's a middle school level article. And so let's see what we can do with this article in Gemini. So first I'm going to ask Gemini to summarize the article. All right, so summarize this article in 3 bullet points, because we know that if we can front load some main ideas for students, then they are more likely to retain the information that they read. And so this is pulled out 3 bullet points summarizing the article. And so then you could use those bullet points, like I said, to front load with students before reading the article. Then have students read the short article and add 2 additional bullet points that they think are important from the article. So some customization there in helping students attain higher levels of reading comprehension. And then maybe we want to say from the article, provide computer science, vocabulary, and student-friendly definitions. So let's see what we get here. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 computer science words pulled from this Britannica article and student-friendly vocabulary definitions paired with those vocabulary words. So, you know, that would have taken me as a teacher. I used to be a language teacher. Vocabulary is very important to me. And so it would have taken me, you know, several minutes to pull out those words and several more minutes to write student-friendly definitions for those words, whereas AI can use its vast amount of data to do those tasks really quickly. So let's say for some of my students, this article is a little too difficult. I've got some readers who are not quite at a middle school level. So let's see if Gemini can adjust the reading level for this article. And I'll admit, this may or may not work. It wrote a summary for me when I tried this earlier this week, but wouldn't exactly rewrite the article. But it did suggest that we could adjust the reading level by clicking the tab at the top of the article, which I did note was an option. And so you could try adjusting the reading level down. If you have students who are ready for a challenge, you could adjust the reading level up. And then let's see how it does with creating some tools, some assessment tools, some formative assessment tools that you might use with this article. So using the article, write for multiple choice reading comprehension questions. Again, this is something that would take some time for an educator to do. And here we whipped it up in less than 5 seconds. One thing I love, like I said, as a former language teacher, we can also ask AI chatbots to write the article in a closed format. And so I might say something like, provide the text of the article with 5 computer science vocabulary words taken out, and create a word bank at the top of the text. And I am going to use the term close, provide a close version of the text of the article. And again, I'm just re-putting that link in there each time so it remembers that I only want to work with this specific article. And so here we have, this looks like more like a summary of the article, but I could iterate on this ask and make sure that the article is actually provided back to me with those computer science words missing. But it did give us a word bank. It gave us, it looks like a summary of the article with those close blanks in there for students to practice their vocabulary with. So another thing that would have taken some time, but here we are collaborating with our AI tool to really make some great classroom resources, but in a fraction of the time it would take for you to do this manually. Another idea I had was rewrite the article with important vocabulary terms highlighted and definitions provided. Oh, you do too. Let me go back when I was doing this earlier. Let's see, I think it was this one. Anyways, see, sometimes we have to work with it and iterate on our asks because it actually did do this task for me, like I said earlier, when I was experimenting with this. And so other ideas that I had were translating the article or a summary into another language. Again, using 3 bullet points in vocabulary to front load and pre-teach concepts, activating students' prior knowledge. You could reteach with a shortened version of the article, adding diagrams or images, or providing everyday examples or analogies. So some great ways there to make AI a tool in your classroom that can help with customizing content that you might use in your classroom. So here are some examples of these text-based tools that might be beneficial in your day-to-day work. Chatbots, language translation tools, speech-to-text and text-to-speech tools, and writing assistants are all examples of tools that more and more are having some AI feature embedded in them. So let's move on to creating content with AI in collaboration with AI. So I, again, was working through this earlier this week. As a former language teacher, I love a good raft writing prompt. I'm not sure if you're familiar. So we're going to incorporate a raft writing prompt with our chatbot exercise. And I would love for you to practice alongside me here in your preferred chatbot generative AI tool, Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, or Copilot. So there are some steps we need to teach ourselves and teach our students when we're working with these chatbots. You heard me use that term, iterate on your ask, because you're not always going to get what you're looking for the first try. So some tips for working with these types of generative AI tools. Customize your chatbot at the start. Be specific and clear. Use appropriate language, and that might be very simple phrasing, or it might include some technical jargon or industry language. If you are looking for something specific, go ahead and use that jargon. Iterate with feedback to clarify your intent. And another last tip that I love is specifying the output format. For example, a list, a poem, or even a type of file like a PDF. So in your chatbot, I would like you to practice this. Start with thinking about an academic topic or task you're going to teach this fall. Start with the basics and just ask for information. Start with a phrase like, tell me about. So I'm going to do a computer science example here. I'm going to start a new chat and ask Gemini to tell me about pixels. Let's see what Gemini comes up with. Usually it's kind of wordy, lengthy. This one's not too bad. I'm kind of impressed with Gemini here, offering me up some visuals also. So this is pretty good. Tell me about pixels. But now I want you to change the reading level of that text or change the difficulty of the problem that you want your students to engage with. So again, we're sticking with the same academic topic, but change the difficulty level just a bit. So here I might say, provide more detail and make this appropriate for the reading level of a high school junior. And let's see what Gemini comes up with. So maybe a bit more dense, another fun visual there. I don't know, I think I would be expecting this to have a bit more beef to it. Again, sometimes you got to iterate, ask again in a different way. So this is already providing us with some image examples. It did not do that last time that I was asking, so maybe it's learning from my asks, but you then could ask for an alternate example or an explanation. So try that out. So let's see what kind of visuals we can get here. Create an image of a cartoon or sprite. That is an example of low pixel density. Let's see what it comes up with here. And sometimes it doesn't like generating images. Sometimes it'll tell me no, but it looks like I'm got some here. All right, in step 4, let's ask for a real world application and or a metaphor. Let's see. Let's ask, where do we engage with pixels in our everyday lives? That's something that would make it very relevant to students. So there's some examples. And then let's ask it to make a metaphor. Make a metaphor between pixel density and impressionist paintings and photorealistic paintings. So again, making connections to students' lived experiences, using metaphors and analogies are great ways to make content accessible to students. And I have tricked it because it says we are working to improve Gemini's ability to generate images of people. It's not really what I asked it to do. So if we had a bit more time, I would fight with it, but we don't, because I definitely want to get to my point about the raft writing. All right, so In our last iteration in this exchange with our chatbot, I want you to make it fun. Try a raft prompt. Raft stands for role, audience, format, or topic. So for example, the role of the chatbot, you need to assign it. Is it going to be a pilgrim, a soldier, the president? Is it going to be a cartoon character? Choose a role related to the academic task that you were asking about earlier. Then audience. Who will the chatbot be addressing? Is it a friend, a teacher, readers of a newspaper? Pick an audience. Next is format. Tell the chatbot what it's going to be writing. A friendly letter, an advertisement, a speech, a video script. And then give the chatbot a topic. Tell it what you are writing about. So this one is so much fun to me. So I tried this out earlier this week. My prompt was, you are a game designer. Your audience is a 16-bit game character. Write a funny poem explaining why the character can't have lifelike features. Let's see what Gemini comes up with today. Ode to a pixelated hero. Oh, 16-bit friend, so blocky and bright, with colors so bold, a delightful sight. Your pixels are square, your movements are slow, but your spirit is strong, a hero to know. You lack the detail of a modern-day sprite, with features so sharp, a dazzling light. But your charm is undeniable, your heart pure and true, a pixelated champion through and through. So embrace your limitations, your retro design, a classic hero, one of a kind. For in a world of realism, you stand apart, a pixelated legend with a hero's heart. That is adorable. I would never be able to come up with that on my own. I am not a poet, but look what we created with our raft writing prompt, collaborating with our chatbot. I love this. I hope you enjoyed it. All right, so one more thought as we are considering how we are collaborating with AI chatbots. Decomposition. As computer science teachers, we know how important this skill is when students are approaching coding. So could we ask a chatbot the necessary components for something we want to code? You know, you have your students, they're super excited about producing really awesome games or applications that maybe are currently out of their reach. And we don't want to ask the chatbot to write the code because it can do that. But could we teach our students to ask the chatbot to decompose a coding task that they want to accomplish? So let me start a new chat here. And let's just try it out. Let's say, do not provide any code. Provide a list of coding components and structures I would need to code the dice game pig. Let's see how it does here. All right, so it's giving us some variables. It's giving us some functions. Last time when I tried this out, it even named the functions for me. Says I need a loop, says I need conditional statements, says I need to account for user input. And it gave us some pseudocode. I hesitated there. I thought it gave us code, but it looks like it gave us some pseudocode. So a great starting place where students can jump off from and then still do the task of writing the actual code. Love that idea of using AI as a tool to help students decompose large projects. How about checking work, tutoring, debugging? One of our PD specialists does an amazing job of walking educators through an example of how long it takes to debug student code. he actually times them while they debug a Python program live. And then he puts that same code into the chatbot and, like that, it's debugged. And so definitely helping students realize that collaborating with AI in a debugging scenario could be really, really helpful. Also, I had a really fun one. We can do some math, and I won't do this live because we're actually running up on time here, but I did practice this the other day. I wrote this algebra equation out correctly and then asked Gemini if I had solved it correctly. And it said, yes, you did, and gave me a breakdown and confirmed that my answer was correct. And I said, well, how can I prove that it's correct? Because there's some thinking that needs to go on for students behind that algebra problem, right? And so it explains to me how I could go about proving that my answer was correct. Then I did it incorrectly. It said that I made a mistake and then gave me some hints on how I could fix my answer. And so I thought, oh, well, that's really cool with algebra, but what about computer science? Well, I do occasionally like to have fun converting binary to decimal numbers. And so I did the same thing. I uploaded a picture of that conversion of the binary 101 and my handwritten conversion to the number 5. And then I said, did I convert it correctly? And it said yes, and gave me a little explanation. So I really, really enjoyed doing that as I was preparing for this presentation today. So another way we might collaborate with AI would be through brainstorming. I like to write a syllabus or write an outline for a presentation I have coming up, and then ask AI, here's my outline. Did I miss anything? Did I include all the relevant information and topics? Can you come up with any counter arguments or examples? And again, we have a great example of that in our CodeHS course for educators on using AI about improving code and asking students to, there's a conditional format with Python code. A student was reusing elif statements over and over. And you can ask the chatbot, hey, how could my student improve this code? Well, it could be used in a dictionary instead, could be used in place of the elif conditional. And so brainstorming with AI is another collaborative experience. And then research. Again, lots of ways to research with a chatbot. So this time I asked about basic information about Ada Lovelace, who is a huge figure and pioneer in computer science history. So it gave me some information and I said, well, what are the sources for this information? And AI takes data from lots of different sources. So it would not provide me with any specific links to where it was getting its information from because Ada Lovelace is, like I said, a historical figure. But it did give me, here I pull from academic articles and biographies. And so I said, provide links. It said it couldn't do that, but here are some platforms where you could go do some research. And then I asked it a little bit nuanced question, provide me details about Ada Lovelace's childhood and education. So it did that just fine. And then I asked, I'm a big reader, so I asked it for some biographies on Ada Lovelace with titles, authors, and publication dates. And then I also was able to say, but don't provide anything that's been more than 10 years since the publication date. And so it gave me a list of some recent biographies on Ada Lovelace. Primary source information, always the standard when you're doing research. And so I asked, where can I find Ada Lovelace's personal papers? And it did give me some locations, the British Library, this Bodleian Library website. And so it's really funny, though. It says, gaining access to these materials might require significant planning and potentially obtaining research permissions, which I love. It's so adorable that it knows enough about the real world and research institutions to warn me that, I can't just show up at the door at the British Library asking to see Ada Lovelace's personal papers. So just a really fun kind of touch point there, collaborating with AI in a research situation. Next, we're going to talk about adaptive learning environments. So CodeHS is providing AI hints for educators. And so this is a very cool tool that we are experimenting with, helping educators provide efficient feedback to students with our AI hints. Adaptive learning systems, intelligent tutoring systems, all of these are included as ways that we can collaborate with AI in order to create content for students that is personalized and right at their learning level. So just really quickly, I have listed for your later reference, because you do have the link to these slides, the different types of tools supported by AI that you might find accessible to you as an educator or helpful to you as an educator. And finally here, I just briefly wanted to touch on considering the perils of student use of AI in collaborative environments. If any of you attended the Scratch conference just last week, this amazing panel discussion happened on AI ethics and creative learning possibilities and pitfalls. And all credit to the panelists. I've listed them there because I do not do original research on AI, but these folks do, and they came up with these two just light bulb moment questions for myself. Two of the themes that came out of this panel discussion, first was, what is lost when students have generative AI on tap? What happens? What might be lost when students have AI at their fingertips 24/7? That was such a light bulb question for me, because one of the presenters, I believe it was James, showed a video of one of his students who was doing victory laps around the classroom after he had solved a really tough coding problem. And that joy in that moment was so clear on that student's face. And, will that potentially be lost as students have instant access to generative AI tools? It's an interesting question. The second interesting theme that came out of this panel discussion was how the experience of collaborating with AI tools was different for various groups. So Krishma was asking AI, I think it was Dali maybe, to generate pictures of South Asian Indian women, because that is her identity. And what she got was not great. And so Kareem Edward was also presenting. He is doing research now on students' ability to collaborate effectively with AI in image generation. And he gave an example of one of his Black male students who was trying to get a generative AI image generator to create a comic book character who was Black. And as he was iterating on these asks, the AI generator kept straightening the comic book character's hair. And so, how is the experience of minority groups, of certain identity groups, how is that experience different from mainstream students' experiences collaborating with AI? These are very, very worthy questions. I highly, highly recommend you searching for that Scratch conference recording. It should be available today. I was hoping it was going to be available in time for this session, but that was not the case. So definitely go check out that panel discussion. It was absolutely fantastic. Can't recommend it enough. So we are coming up on time. I want to close this out with a reminder that we have lots of AI curriculum. We have lots of AI professional development continuing for you and for your students. So definitely check us out at codehs.com/AI. We also have some other opportunities for you to become a CodeHS certified educator and earn micro-credentials. Please join our Facebook group. Please follow us on social media, and definitely continue to check out our free PD offerings. I have one final ask for you as we close out our time here together today. If you could give us some feedback on this survey, I would very much appreciate it. I also appreciate your time and willingness to spend an hour with us this afternoon or this morning, I guess, if you're on the West Coast. And thank you so much. Have a wonderful afternoon.